Hey, well, real quick, before this video starts, I'm going to be going over a video by Kurt Warner. Make sure you subscribe to Kurt Warner's football channel. I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. I've only watched one video, but the one video I saw was, pretty good stuff there. And it doesn't make sense that Kurt Warner has less YouTube subscribers than me. So let's go fix that error in the matrix and subscribe to Kurt Warner so that doesn't continue, because boy, am I not justified to have more subs than Kurt Warner. It's absolutely inexcusable. So go subscribe to Kurt Warner. Links in the description. Now let's back to the originally scheduled video. All right, so Kurt Warner came out with a video about Baker Mayfield, and it was pretty much about, is what's happening to the Browns offense his fault? And he went over the first half of the Baltimore Ravens game, and it's a pretty good video. So what I wanted to do is look at the video. So that's what we're going to do today. But before I get into that, I want to make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload. Also, want to give a shout out to the patreon.com dog check tier members. And I'm going to start with Michael Matique, Cam Vex, Jaleel Salim Jr. and Sr., Caleb Pickering, Benjamin Woods, Michael Terry, Sam28, Wani Boy, Rob Morehouse, Tyler Chiz, Michael Morales, Mark Kahn, Max Haymaker, Nick Merrick, D.A.J., Joe Hart, Gabriel Wilson, Fred Pat III, David Valtiar, Relentless Buck, Rex Kaufman, Kevin Johnson, Cleveland Cart, Matt H., Sign Sheets, Gemini, Leon Freeland, Fight 3074, Chunt, Yo-Yo, Matt Lloyd, Paul Wilcox, Hondo Magnifico, Cal Stoffer, Lukey from Munich, Dave Aroff, J Guy 101, Musty Taco, Brad Cowbo, Dylan W, James McGinley, Arendal, Chad Gimme, David Maldonado, Josh Spindor, Austin Rich, Mark M, Stuart Moore, Dylan Hill, Cleveland BCI, Robert Germain, Dave Mike May, Andrew Hirsch, Curtis Bayer, Batman, Barack Kumar, John Albert, Beerman 069, Masayua, Butts Roland, Mac House, Reeve Hertz, Philip Wilcoxon, Marie Vivert, Sean Barron, Goggles Pisano, Dom Gazzulo, Nick Nasty, Ian Whitaker, Colin 216, Christian, Dave Strong, Michael Stone, Soul Train, Billy, Moose Gentry, Austin Z, Mark Burnett II, Andre Griffin, Otis Wolf, Dog Pound Kai, Greg Ehlers, Austin Bolin, Lydia Mahawk, Alexander Davis, Chris Falms, Picktown Browns backer, Max Nilakenko, Max Al Dojo, and Water Bear Marketing. Again, guys, thank you so much for your support. It means a ton to me. Now let's get into the video. So before we jump into Kurt Warner's video, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room when it comes to discussing Baker Mayfield. It does not matter who you are. This topic is polarizing, right? What I have noticed over the last year when it comes to conversations about Baker Mayfield, there seems to be like two main camps, and then there's a bunch of sub-camps within those camps. I'm not going to get into the whole lore of Browns Twitter right now because I would like not to have a headache for the rest of the day. But there's two main camps when it comes to Baker Mayfield. There are people who dominate one camp that I would say probably never wanted Baker in the first place, and the second they have any reason to get mad at Baker, they're going to take that. And then there are the people who love Baker Mayfield, probably because they were either Oklahoma fans or they're Browns fans who just love Baker Mayfield, which is a very possible thing because Baker Mayfield is the quarterback of this team, a team that before he had got there, not given this city any happiness. So I understand where the love for Baker would come from, but also love that kind of dismisses what has been, this year at least, bad quarterback play for a decent amount of the year. So those are the two camps. And, normally I say, well, there's no middle. There is a middle. There's a lot of people in the middle here when it comes to the two camps that more or less think, hey, I love Baker. I love that he won that playoff game. I love how he plays, and I love when he's playing well. But also this year he's not playing well, right? And if he's not going to play well, I don't know what you do in the future. That's a lot of people. That's probably the majority of people are right here in this conversation of Baker's given us two really good, fun years. He's also given us two very disappointing years. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know how to evaluate him. I don't know how much money you pay for that, right? That's most people. The problem is that even if you're here, people will take what you're saying, take the parts that they like or don't like, and push you into one of those two camps. So that is why talking about Baker Mayfield is a minefield. Not because of what you're saying about him is controversial, but people are going to take it one way or the other, push you into one of these two camps when you're not trying to be pushed in one of these two camps. It's just what I've noticed. I'm going to try to navigate this minefield and watch this Kurt Warner video and see what kind of truth he's talking about, and if there's anything that I don't feel like is 100% true about what he's saying about the Browns. So let's just start the video now.
I'm going to take you through the first half of that game. Not the whole game, but through the first half, because everybody was looking and saying, you got 3 interceptions and you got 3 points out of that. I want to show you what Baker did in this game, and then you can make your assessment. You can analyze. You can tell me whether Baker played well or didn't play well, whether it was his fault or it wasn't his fault.
The question that he's trying to answer in this video is, why didn't Baker score more off these turnovers? And this is the answer to them, because 3 of those interceptions were in the first half. So that's kind of the whole point of this video. Nothing more, nothing less. It's kind of what he's trying to get to. And again, I'm not going to play his whole video on my channel because I want you to go and watch Kurt Warner's video. We're just going to jump to specific spots where I have something specific to say about that part of the video. Again, the full video is going to be in the link in the description.
So I'm watching his left foot right here. So what we want to do as a quarterback is we take 3 steps. If I'm a right-handed quarterback, right foot should move first. 1, left foot 1, right foot hits and throws. You're going to see, I'll give you this angle and then we'll change it, is that Baker moves the left foot first. So his left foot takes a false step, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 steps instead of 3. That's what causes this to be delayed. So if you can see it, I'll slow it down right there. See that right there underneath the center's feet? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So Kurt Warner brings up something that honestly has been happening with Baker Mayfield for so long and so consistently that I just kind of take that as accepted knowledge on Baker Mayfield. So a lot of people who've joined in recently probably don't know that Baker does do this, which is a bad thing on my part. So I probably should acknowledge this more often. But Baker has had this foot step issue or footwork issue since his rookie year. I mean, he had it somewhat in his rookie year, but this is just one of the things that he does. Now, I think Brett Coleman actually had a good video kind of describing why he does this and what problems it creates and how schematically a coach has to adjust to a quarterback who does this, right? Now, Kurt Warner's coming at this from a perspective of a 6'3", 6'4" quarterback who's much taller. Baker Mayfield, 6'1". And one of the reasons Baker would do this, right, get that fake half step in, is because Baker can't really see over the line of scrimmage. It's not saying Baker's not good because of that, but Baker is a shorter quarterback. That is a reality of things, and shorter quarterbacks sometimes have to get deeper in their steps so they can see over the offensive line better. And this is something that Baker's done throughout his whole career, right? That half step and then taking that extra step, that's something he's done. That's not something that's going to go away because it's a part of his integral throwing motion and his rhythm. He needs to do that. And also, it's something that needs to be adjusted for when it comes to protections. Again, when you take that extra step, it makes the angles for those pass rushers, so Justin Houston and Tyus Bowser, a lot more obtainable because it means that the linemen, the offensive tackles, have to get so much more depth to be able to get in front of them. So that's something that's existed with Baker. Also, as Kurt has pointed out, it's something that affects him when it comes to his timing route throws in a timing route offense. But it's also something that's been happening with Baker Mayfield, not just this game, but his entire career. It's something he's tried to fix. I think he tried to fix it in 2019, and that led to a lot of issues with his throwing motion, a lot of interceptions that he had to correct, and then he kind of went back to it in 2020. So that step there, I think at this point, if Baker Mayfield's going to be your quarterback, that's just something you got to adjust to. And it's not a death sentence, right? I think Drew Brees had a similar issue, especially early in his career with that half step. But that's just there for Baker. But let's continue.
This game with 3 turnovers. Here's the next play. A little hard play action. Okay, we're going to run this play we call honk, where it's off of a corner, and then he stems and comes back this way. Now, a lot of people might come out and go, Baker, you had these 2 guys open right here. Yes, he does. But this is what this play is designed for, to get an overplay by the free safety and hit the chunk play back down the middle of the field. He gets out there, he flips his feet. Dime, right on the money, 10-yard line. We are set up not only to get points, but set up to score a touchdown. Okay, we'll look at it from the other view, just so you see the kind of throw it was. Sets up, guy in his face, flips his feet, boom, drops a dime. Should be caught every single time in the NFL, drops the ball on the 10-yard line, and we get no points on that particular play.
All right, so this probably, from everything I've heard online, was the most controversial section of the video. And I think there's probably some reasons that are warranted why that's a controversial section of the video. Not because Kurt Warner is necessarily wrong here. He's clearly right, and I'm not going to challenge him on his knowledge of NFL offenses. I'm pretty sure Kurt has learned in a single day more about NFL offenses than I have learned in my entire lifetime. I'm not here to challenge him on that. Now, there are some things I do want to ask more questions about on his analysis on this play. So he mentions, hey, Austin Hooper and David Njoku are, in fact, wide open on this play. Now, it is true. They are not designed to get the ball. This play was not a designed play to get them the ball. They are an option here, but it's not a design play. And I have no idea if that's not the design of the play, why David Njoku is that close to Austin Hooper. So it seems like somebody messed up on the offense and ran the wrong route, because that doesn't make a ton of sense why he's there, or maybe there's a more specific reason for why he's there. Either way, I get the thinking of that's not where the play is designed, but also, why wouldn't you take that if you see it? You know what I mean? Like, is this, in Kurt Warner's eyes, just Baker didn't see those two flashing open because they weren't supposed to be there, or is this Baker not taking that throw because that's not supposed to be what's open, despite that's being what's open, right? Like, at some point, yes, what you're designed to do and told to do matters, but if there is clearly a better option there, and you have Austin Hooper with a blocker in front, with 30 yards of green in front of him, why wouldn't you take that if you saw it? I would love to know if Kurt Warner himself, what he would do if he were in that situation. Would he take that despite that not being what he's supposed to take in that play? Like, that's an interesting question to ask. Also, when he's talking about this throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones, it is a very difficult throw for a quarterback to make. So he is being a bit forgiveful for Baker being a little high on this throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones here. And honestly, Donovan Peoples-Jones should have caught that ball. That is a legit drop. It hit his hands. He bobbled it 2 times and fumbled it. So that is a legit drop on Donovan Peoples-Jones. And, you know, Baker throwing that ball across the hash, across the field, that's a very difficult throw. I understand why he is more forgiveful for that mistake. The thing I'm just wondering is, if those two are open, despite them not being designed to get the ball, why would you not take it as a quarterback? Is that a sight thing? Is that I'm afraid to get the ball over Tyus Bowser's head thing, which could be real, because if you do throw that right to Tyus Bowser, it's a touchdown for the Ravens, not for you. But I would just like to know more of an explanation from Kurt Warner on why you would not take that, even though it's there but not supposed to be there. Like, is there more to that, or is it just because it's not supposed to be there? Because I don't know if the latter is necessarily enough to evade criticism for that decision.
Okay, here's another one. We're in a situation where we're coming out and we run this little hook, and then we're running a flat right here. Okay, I want you to watch Chubb on this particular play. He's running a flat route. Flat route, get past the line of scrimmage and flatten. What happens? He comes like this. Okay, we're going to look at this and go, oh, how the heck can Baker miss that throw? Well, look at Chubb. He continues to run up the field the whole time. He never stops, gets to his depth and flattens it. He's continuing to run up the field when Baker's throwing it for him to flatten it. So if you get the ball and he's going here and he catches it right there, oh, you tell me, does he get the first down? At least sets him up for a short third down. And instead, you see Baker jumping up and down like, come on, man, you got to be flat right there. That was on 1st and 5. We're setting ourselves up for another first down.
Okay, so one thing to note here, I'm pretty sure he got the down and distance wrong on this play. This was not a 1st and 5. This was a 1st and 13, which makes the criticism of the decision here in the play call here a little bit more valid once you know that down and distance is not 1st and 5. It is 1st and 15. Now, as far as Nick Chubb not flattening out his route, this has been something Nick Chubb just hasn't done since he's been in Cleveland. Like 2018, he tried to do it. 2019, he tried to do it. And then like once Kevin Stefanski got here, there was no attempt to have him flatten out his routes anymore. And part of the reason I think this is more intentional by the offensive staff than something Nick Chubb just does on his own free will is one of Nick Chubb's weaknesses, right, is he is a downhill guy. He can get going, and once he gets going, he's going to be really fast. But if you ask him to stop and start a lot, he's going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of one of the things that I think the Browns want to avoid with Nick Chubb. So instead of flattening out his route, they kind of just let him run his routes like this, where Baker has consistently hit him on those kind of like line drive balls straight into his chest while he's taking that kind of an angle. It's something that him and Nick Chubb do and hit on a lot, which is why I'm not critical when he misses him every once in a while. But I think that's more intentional than like Nick Chubb missing a route here. And again, I think he overstated the importance of this play because, again, it's on 1st and 15 and it might have gotten 2 yards. You know what I mean? So I don't know how important this play is. Also, this is just not being critical of what he says here about football, but also I would just love a more of an explanation on why doesn't he look on the other side of the field, or why wouldn't Baker take the other half of the read from pre-snap to see that Jarvis is going to have a bit more of a favorable matchup based on what that defense looks like? Because, again, this is one of those plays where Jarvis is coming out of the backfield. It's either man or zone. And if it's man, Patrick Queen's going to be the guy covering Jarvis Landry, which means he could be open. But it's zone. Patrick Queen's not good at zone, so he just never covers Jarvis Landry, or never even attempts to cover Jarvis Landry. Now, part of that's because Baker's head's never turned that, or his body's never turned that way. But again, just would like to know more about that play from Kurt Warner's perspective so I can understand what he's saying just a bit better. But Nick Chubb not flattening out his routes. Since Kevin Stefanski has been here, that's been kind of a consistent thing. So I kind of wonder if that's something he's being coached to do, and it might be for a good reason. Because if you look at like his screen catches for the last year, you're going to see that kind of a throw to him and being something that you see often.
Eventually, they're going to get this guy out on a check down. But as you come back and see Baker here, watch Baker how he double clutches right here. Right there, he's ready to throw it. Now, I don't know if they do this. I don't know this play. I'm making this up in my mind. But that little hesitation there by Baker makes me think that Jarvis had the opportunity to hook it right here. If he pushes up and this guy's outside, I get a chance to hook it. And maybe it's push up, feel that guy, and hook to the outside. I don't know. Maybe he's got the opportunity to break inside. Maybe it's a complete choice route. I'm not sure. Jarvis makes it look like I have no choice and I'm running out of it. Baker is setting up, and again, watch him. Right here, I'm going to throw it. Oh, well, no, I'm not going to throw it because he's breaking right into coverage. And then from there, try to get back to here maybe, but that safety's jumping it. Everybody can say, well, the guy's open backside. Well, that's his 5th read. Pressure's breaking down. Probably a little confused, like, Jarvis, I thought you were going to break inside. And again, I'm not putting that on Jarvis, okay? I'm not going to go out there on social media and say, well, Jarvis ran the wrong route. I don't know if he ran the wrong route. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, Baker won't pull the trigger here because it looks like he was going to pull the trigger and then he pulls it back. Well, here's why. Because it looks like he expected him to do something else. He breaks out into coverage. Again, maybe that's what he was supposed to do and he was just trying to will him to see that and make a move. Either way, there's nobody open. There's nobody open. This safety's driving there. Maybe if you get back to this right on the top, you can beat that safety with the throw. But that's the only option Baker has on this particular play. That hesitation is because there's nobody open. He's got to throw the football away and make the best play.
Now, again, I agree with him on a lot of things here, right? A ton of things here. One, when people look at the film, they just kind of like sometimes look for if somebody's open, but they don't look at the offensive line pocket, the throwing windows, and all the other things that would be necessary for a quarterback to complete the throw. So, somebody on Twitter would highlight that David Njoku is technically open on that play, but David Njoku's probably only open on that play because, one, the passing windows have been clogged up by the defensive ends, and Baker Mayfield is far into the left side of the pocket. So if you're a defender that's reading the pocket, you're just going to not bother with David Njoku because he's not in the play anymore, right? Like, there's no way Baker's going to be able to get his head around to the fifth read, find a passing lane, and then hit David Njoku before somebody can just get there before that's not open, right? So David is out of the play at this point. So yeah, he's open, but he's really not. He might as well not be on the field here. Now this whole Jarvis Landry thing. This is where, as somebody who has watched just a ton of Baker Mayfield throwing quarterback, I don't know if it's fair to make any assumptions when Baker Mayfield pump fakes the ball because he just does it so much. And it never seems like it's to achieve a certain goal or for a specific reason. He just pump fakes a ton. Like, this is just what it is with Baker Mayfield. Again, it's kind of like that half step. He's been doing this forever, especially since 2019. The pump fake thing, it could be because Jarvis isn't running the right route or him and Jarvis aren't on the right page. It could be because he sees something that he saw wasn't there and he decided not to take it. Or it could be for any other number of reasons, right? He might have pump faked this because he felt backside pressure and thought that defensive end could have slapped the ball out of his hand. Like, Baker pump fakes a lot. I just don't know if you can take anything away from the fact that he pump fakes and make any kind of analysis off that just because he does it a lot, and it's hard to pin down why. So that was Kurt Warner's look at that video, and it's a good video. It is a very solid video. I think especially if you take it for what it is, which is what he admitted it is, a look at the 3 turnovers that the Baltimore Ravens had in that game and why the Browns did not score on them and who's technically to blame on that. I think he did a very, very good job on that. That's what that video is. My issue is not with Kurt Warner or his analysis. It's more or less of what I talked about at the beginning of the video, right? There are 2 camps. There are camps of people who have like ridiculously wrong opinions about Baker Mayfield, like objectively wrong things where they say he can't get to a second read or he can't throw the ball downfield. Like, that's just wrong about Baker Mayfield. He can do all of those things. He's demonstrated that he can do all of those things. But since Baker Mayfield can do those things, and sometimes people are unfair in their criticism, sometimes people take that and go the completely opposite way. And then a video about Kurt Warner breaking down why the Browns didn't score off of 3 turnovers turns into some people's eyes a justification for Baker Mayfield's whole year. And I don't think that's what Kurt Warner was setting out to do. I don't think that's what he was trying to do. But I also think that a lot of the people who are critical of Baker Mayfield right now, and when I say critical, I don't mean people who are being like unfair with their criticism. I mean people who are giving fair criticism of Baker Mayfield. They're not looking at games like the Baltimore Ravens game as reasons to be critical of Baker Mayfield. They're looking at games like Detroit or other games that have happened this year where Baker was bad, the Minnesota game, right? As stuff that bugs them about Baker Mayfield and looking there and stuff that, worries them about Baker Mayfield and why they need to look into that thing just a little bit deeper. How Baker played in the Ravens game, that offense had a lot of problems in that game. Baker wasn't like the solution to any of those problems, but he definitely wasn't the main problem against the Ravens. There were a lot of other issues in that game offensively. I mean, you score 3 points off of 4 turnovers. There's just a lot of issues going on the offense, point blank, period. But I don't think that's the game and that's the style of play that people are using to be critical of Baker Mayfield as much as it is some of the work that he put up previous. So again, if you take the video for what it is, and what Kurt Warner stated it was at the beginning of the video, it's really good. Just be careful of how far you take what he said into a general statement because sometimes that could be a bit problematic. And again, how do you criticize Baker Mayfield? Are we criticizing him based on what other Cleveland Browns quarterbacks have done? If so, that's an admittedly low bar, but also, if that is the bar, how much money is that worth to you, right? Is that a $20 million bar? Is that a $25, $30 million bar? At some point we have to have those conversations, because if the bar is paying him what the usual is for a franchise quarterback, which is around 35 to 40 million, I don't think he's reached that bar. So, I don't know what to do with that if he's in between there. So I get why people don't want to let Baker go, because, again, what's the better solution? You're going to throw Case Keenum out there? He's going to solve these problems? I would doubt it. So that's kind of the weird, sticky situation that the Cleveland Browns are in. Hopefully Baker Mayfield plays better in these next 5 weeks so we don't have to worry about this as much during the offseason. But that's my thoughts on what Kurt Warner's video is. Again, make sure you subscribe to Kurt Warner. And make sure you show him some love, because his videos are pretty good and we can learn a lot from his breakdowns of other quarterbacks here. I love it when more established names start to come to this space, because it legitimizes the space. Guys like him, JT O'Sullivan's another former NFL quarterback that does breakdowns on this platform on a pretty routine basis. QB Film School is, I think, his channel. So check out those guys. They're going to help you a lot. They've helped me a ton in learning football to a deeper level than what I've already did. So make sure you subscribe to them. But thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.